Good morning, my dear. This moment is yours. The morning light is gently touching the window, inviting you to a new beginning. And there's something different in the air today. Something that asks for your attention, that whispers softly. It's time to release what has been holding you back. Breathe deeply now. Allow the air to enter slowly, filling every space within you. Feel your chest expand. Feel life flowing. You are here in this exact instant. And that is already a miracle. You woke up, you are alive, and in this day that's being born, you have the power to choose thoughts that elevate, words that heal, and beliefs that liberate. Perhaps you've spent years carrying mental patterns you didn't consciously choose. Inherited thoughts, beliefs absorbed in childhood, phrases repeated so many times they became silent truths within you. I am not enough. Good things don't happen to me. I always fail. Acknowledge these whispers now, without judgment, without guilt. They are there, and you don't need to pretend they don't exist. But you also don't need to believe them anymore. Because today, in this sacred morning, you are awakening to a greater truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the consciousness that observes those thoughts. And if you can observe them, you can also transform them. Feel the weight that these old patterns have carried on your shoulders. Perhaps you felt stuck, stagnant, as if you were trying to move forward, but something invisible always pulled you back. As if there were a transparent ceiling over your dreams, preventing you from reaching what you truly desire. And there are moments when you ask yourself, why can't I? Why does it seem easier for others? My dear, listen to this with all your heart. There is nothing wrong with you. What exists are simply old programming running in the background, like outdated software trying to operate a new system. And today, you are updating that system. You are installing new files, new beliefs, new internal commands that reflect who you really are. Place your hand over your heart now. Feel the warmth of your own palm. Feel the constant and faithful beats of your heart. This organ has never stopped working for you, never gave up, never said, I can't anymore. It continues, tireless, pumping life through you every single second. If your heart can do this without you needing to ask, imagine what else is possible when you align your mind with the same loving dedication. Breathe again, more deeply this time. And as you exhale, release. Release the need to cling to what is familiar just because it's known. Release the idea that you need to prove your worth. You are already valuable. You always have been. The mind is powerful, but you are even more powerful than it. The mind repeats what it knows, seeks patterns, tries to keep you safe within what has already been experienced. But life, the true, abundant, and expansive life you deserve, is on the other side of fear, on the other side of repetition. It's in the radiant unknown where transformation happens. And you don't need to have all the answers today. You only need to be willing to choose a new thought. A single different thought already creates a wave of possibilities. When you say internally, I am worthy of love, something shifts in the universe. When you affirm life works in my favor, doors begin to open. Not because you're forcing, but because you're aligning. Visualize now, for a moment, the version of you who has already broken through these limiting patterns. See this person. They walk with lightness, smile with ease, trust their steps. They don't have all the answers, but they trust the process. They're not perfect, but they love themselves deeply. They no longer fight against themselves. They don't need to prove anything anymore. They simply are. And my dear, this person is not distant from you. They are within you now, waiting for you to acknowledge their presence. They are you, at the highest frequency, at the truest vibration. And every time you choose a thought of love instead of fear, you move closer to them. Every time you forgive yourself instead of criticizing yourself, you become them. The mental patterns that block life are like knots in a rope. They seem impossible to untie when you're tense, pulling with force, trying to solve everything at once. But when you relax, when you breathe, when you allow softness to enter, the knots begin to loosen by themselves. The key is not force, it's surrender. It's not brutal effort, it's radical gentleness with yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow yourself to change your mind. Allow yourself to be loved exactly as you are, before any achievement, before any external transformation. Because love is not conditional. And your essence, the divine spark you carry, never needed justification to exist. Pause for a moment. Feel the reality of these words entering your body, not just your mind. You don't need to earn the right to be happy. You don't need to conquer permission to free yourself. These are beliefs that were planted in you, but they are not your true roots. Your true roots are in the infinite source of love and possibility that created you. Now, let's talk about those internal voices that insist on saying you can't change, that you've tried before and it didn't work, that maybe it's too late. These voices are not your enemies, my dear. They are parts of you trying to protect you from disappointment, from failure, from the pain of trying again. But excessive protection becomes a prison. And you are ready now to thank those voices for their intention and gently choose a new narrative. When you were born, you had no limiting beliefs. You were pure openness, pure trust, pure curiosity. A baby doesn't think, "I'm not capable of learning to walk." They simply try, fall, get up, try again. No drama, no self-criticism, no stories about what failure means. That child still lives within you. That innate wisdom that growth is natural, that change is possible, that you can begin again as many times as necessary. Feel the energy of this new day entering through your windows, touching your skin, enveloping your entire being. This energy is neutral, pure, full of potential, and you choose now how you will shape it. You choose what kind of thoughts you will feed, what kind of words you will say to yourself, what kind of emotions you will cultivate. I am free to change. Repeat this with me, out loud or in the silence of your heart. I am free to change. Feel how these words resonate within you. Perhaps there's resistance, perhaps there's fear. That's okay. Freedom doesn't require you to be brave all the time. Freedom only asks that you be honest and willing. I choose thoughts that elevate me. Say it again. I choose thoughts that elevate me. Not because the other thoughts no longer exist, but because you're practicing giving more attention, more energy, more space to those that serve you. Like watering the flowers instead of the weeds in the garden of your mind. Today, I give myself permission to begin again. Feel the relief in these words. Today, I give myself permission to begin again. You don't need to carry the weight of all the previous days. You don't need to be defined by your past mistakes. Every dawn is an open door, a blank page, a fresh opportunity. Now, let's bring something very important. Gratitude. Not as obligation, not as forced technique, but as genuine recognition. Look around you now. What can you see that works in your life? Perhaps it's the sunlight, the roof over your head, the air you breathe effortlessly. Perhaps it's the people who love you, even when you don't feel lovable. Perhaps it's the simple fact that you're still here, still trying, still seeking to grow. Gratitude doesn't deny difficulties. It simply opens space for the good to also be seen. And when you acknowledge what already works, you create more internal space for good things to happen. It's the law of attraction in its purest form. You attract what you focus your attention on. If you only focus on what's stuck, more stagnation will come. If you recognize, even in small things, the movement, the life, the grace, more of those elements expand. Say with me now, I am grateful for this new day. Feel the truth of this. I am grateful for this new day. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are alive to witness the possibility of change. Life works in my favor. This is a powerful affirmation, my dear. Life works in my favor. Perhaps you don't see how yet. Perhaps the external evidence seems to contradict this. But when you plant this seed internally, when you choose to believe that the universe is not against you, but conspiring for your highest good, something shifts in your energy. You stop fighting and begin to dance. You stop resisting and begin to flow. There will be moments when the old patterns try to return. This is normal. You'll wake up one day and the internal criticism will be there, on autopilot, saying the same things as always. When that happens, don't go to war with yourself. Don't blame yourself for still having those thoughts. Simply observe, breathe, and choose differently. Think of this as training a muscle. In the beginning, you need conscious effort to choose the new thought. With time, with gentle and consistent practice, the new pattern becomes more natural. You don't need to be perfect at this. You only need to be willing to try again and again with love. And if you fall completely into the old pattern for an entire day, for a week, there's no judgment here, there's no failure, there's only redirection. You can always, at any moment, choose again. This is the beauty of your inner freedom. No one can take that from you. No external circumstance can remove your power to choose how you interpret life, how you respond, how you relate to yourself. Visualize now a door within you, an ancient, heavy door that has been locked for a long time. Behind that door are all the limiting patterns, all the beliefs that say you can't, that you're not enough, that you should be ashamed. See that door now, and notice that you're holding the key. You've always been holding the key. You just didn't know you had permission to use it. Place the key in the lock. Feel its weight, the cold metal against your palm. And with all the gentleness in the world, turn it. Hear the click of the door opening. You don't need to rip it off its hinges. You don't need to explode everything. Just open, gently, allowing light to enter. And watch what was trapped there begin to dissipate. Not because you fought against it, but because you allowed the light of your consciousness, of your compassion, of your self-love to illuminate the dark corners. You are a part of the universe experiencing itself. When you free your limiting patterns, you're not just changing your individual life. You're participating in the evolution of collective consciousness. You're showing other souls that it's possible for them too. You become a living bridge between fear and love, between limitation and expansion. There's no pressure in this. There's no requirement that you be enlightened tomorrow or perfect next week. There's only the invitation to be a little more conscious today than you were yesterday, a little more gentle with yourself today than you were yesterday, a little more willing to choose love instead of fear today than you were yesterday. Now, before you rise and begin your day, let's do a simple practice, something you can carry with you and repeat whenever you feel the old patterns trying to pull you back. Place both hands over your heart. Feel the warmth, feel the beats, and breathe deeply 3 times. On the first breath, think, I release what doesn't serve me. On the second breath, I welcome the new. On the third breath, I am free. This 3-breath practice can be done anywhere, anytime. Before an important meeting, before a difficult conversation, when you wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety, when you feel you're falling into the old pattern. 3 breaths, 3 conscious choices, 3 portals to your highest truth. If you have a journal, write this question today. If I truly believed I am free to change, what would I do differently today? It doesn't need to be something big. Perhaps it's just the way you speak to yourself while having your morning coffee. Perhaps it's allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Perhaps it's saying no to something that drains you. Small changes create waves, and those waves, with time, transform entire oceans. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There is a greater intelligence guiding you. There is a universal energy sustaining you. There is a force of unconditional love always available to you. You can call it God, universe, source, inner light, or simply love. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that you know, deep in your heart, that you are supported. You always have been. You always will be. There's a very common belief that says, it's too late for me. Too late to change careers. Too late to heal relationships. Too late to be happy. This belief is one of the biggest lies humanity has ever told itself. As long as you're breathing, as long as there's life pulsing through you, it's not too late. Change has no expiration date. Transformation has no age limit. Your soul doesn't age the way the body ages. Your capacity to grow, to learn, to reinvent yourself is as alive at 60 as it was at 20. If there are regrets in your heart, if there are things you wish you had done differently, bring compassion to that now. You did the best you could with the consciousness you had at that moment. You didn't know then what you know now, and that's perfectly okay. Forgiveness, true forgiveness, is not about justifying or forgetting. It's about releasing the burden. It's about stopping using the past as a whip to punish yourself in the present. Say with me, I forgive myself for not knowing before what I know now. Feel these words. I forgive myself for not knowing before what I know now. And if it applies, I forgive those who didn't know before what they may know now. Release. Breathe. Allow the past to be past, not a chain that traps you, but a teacher that prepared you for this exact moment. Now feel the weight lifting from your shoulders. Perhaps you don't perceive it physically in the first instant, but there's an energetic relief happening. You are becoming lighter, not because the challenges disappeared, but because you're learning not to carry unnecessary weight. You're learning to distinguish between what is yours to carry and what you've been carrying out of habit, out of misguided loyalty, out of fear of disappointing. You have the sacred right to prioritize your well-being. This is not selfishness. This is responsibility. When you take care of yourself, when you nurture your own inner peace, you automatically have more to offer the world. You cannot give from what you don't have. If you're exhausted, resentful, blocked by limiting patterns, what you offer the world is limited. But when you free yourself, when you choose thoughts that elevate you, when you practice radical self-love, you become an inexhaustible source of light. Don't be aggressive with this change. Don't force transformation. Allow it to happen organically, like a flower blooms in its own time. You don't see the gardener ripping the petals off the flower to make it open faster. They simply provide water, light, nutrients, and trust the natural process. Do the same with yourself. Provide gentle thoughts, loving words, moments of rest, conscious choices, and trust that transformation is happening, even when you don't see immediate evidence. Internal change always precedes external change. Always. If you change the way you think about yourself, eventually your external life will reflect this. It may not be in the way you imagined, it may not follow the timeline you established, but it will come. The universe responds to your internal energy, not to your empty words or your superficial desires. It responds to your true vibration, to what you genuinely believe about yourself. I trust the timing of my life. Repeat this. I trust the timing of my life. Even when it seems nothing is happening, there's an invisible preparation occurring. There's a divine orchestration aligning people, circumstances, opportunities. You don't need to control every detail. You only need to do your part. Choose love, release fear, trust the process. Now stand up. Feel your feet touching the ground. This contact with the earth reminds you that you are simultaneously spiritual and physical. You are soul and body. You are eternity in temporary form. And in this life, in this body, in this day, you have the power to choose freedom. You have the power to break patterns. You have the power to begin again. Throughout this day, whenever you feel the old pattern wanting to take control, pause. Just a 3-second pause. In that pause, breathe, and consciously choose which thought you want to nurture. You don't need to completely believe the new thought yet. You only need to be willing to experiment with it. With time, with loving repetition, the new thought will gain strength. You are doing this. You are breaking invisible chains. You are rewriting your internal story. And the universe is celebrating every small choice you make toward love, toward freedom, toward your highest truth. Carry with you today these truths. You are free to change. You choose thoughts that elevate you. You give yourself permission to begin again. You are grateful for this new day. Life works in your favor. These are not just words. They are portals. They are frequencies. They are the very essence of the transformation you seek. And when night comes, before sleeping, place your hand over your heart again. Thank yourself for having tried. Thank the day, regardless of how it went. And sleep with the certainty that tomorrow you will have another opportunity to choose freedom. And the day after? And the next. Every day is a new beginning. Every breath is a new chance. You don't need to wait to feel ready. You don't need to wait to have all the answers. You don't need to wait for life to be perfect. You begin now. Exactly as you are. Exactly where you are. With all your imperfections. With all your doubts. With all your fears. you begin. And by beginning, you are already changing. Good morning, beautiful soul. Today, you break patterns. Today, you choose freedom. Today, you become who you always were, but were forgotten beneath layers of limiting beliefs. Rise with that certainty. Walk with that confidence. You are loved, you are supported, you are infinitely capable. And this day is a blank canvas, waiting for you to paint with the colors of your new mind, of your renewed truth, of your finally free heart. The universe is conspiring in your favor, in every breath, in every conscious choice, in every moment of silent courage. You are not alone. You never were, and you never will be. Now go, my dear. Go and live this day as the freest expression of who you truly are. You deserve this. You always deserved it. And today, finally, you are allowing that truth to enter. Good morning. Today, you change everything.